characters sound the same. And, you know, it's totally human because, you know, there's a way that we talk in our head. So it's one of the greatest challenges, I think, even at that high of a level. For me, how I do that is I really try to pay attention just to how different people talk in daily life. And I'm actually bartending right now, and that is such a great way to practice, you know, just listening to people, just listening to how they talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, you've lived in New York, where I'm sure there was so many international people, and then regional areas of New York have such specific dialects and accents, and here in New Orleans. So you've been exposed to quite a range of characters.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And yeah, there's so much that goes into how people talk, like their accent, their dialect, and just how they think about the world is gonna affect what comes out of their mouth. And so I think it's really key. You have to really get strong on your character's backstory for that reason. And, you know, I think sometimes certain acting traditions, they're so heavy into that, and people are like, oh, I don't want to create character for my backstory, or this is annoying. But like, even with Thin Slicing, like my most recent movie, there were certain questions that I hadn't answered, and I was like, oh no, I need to know that about my character. Like, where did she go to college? You know, just all this stuff.
Right.
And I didn't know. So I think that's a big part of it. A way that I kind of learned to write dialogue was partially just like eavesdropping in cafes. I mean, I know that's classic, but something else I will do is open up an email tab and just write down what people are saying to each other. And like, and it's not like I'm gonna use it, but just seeing what they're saying, you know, because only if you can have a recording, you know, like of what people are saying, that's how you learn how people talk to each other, or where they don't say anything at all and the other person is forced to talk again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was one more thing I was going to say on that. I know maybe that's not ethical, but I'm sure that there's a million writers who do that. I mean, I can't be the only one.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, and it's like people watching. It's such a great way to get ideas for characters. And but I remember where I was going with my long-winded lead up. I was going to ask you about outlining. You know, is that something you do when you're writing? Do you work from some kind of an outline? And that's what I was getting at was, you know, since I do write a lot of nonlinear, I have to heavily rely on an outline so I can make sense of the flashbacks and flash forwards. But is that something that you do, or not really?
Oh my gosh. You know, I have never been a big outline person, and I can see now, like having written a short, I can see how if you're going to write a feature or like, you know, a feature length play, you need that. You really need that. In order to just organize all of your thoughts. I've never, well, did I have flashbacks in, I did have flashbacks in What She Told Me, I think. I can't remember now. Yes, there's one flashback in it that we added in later, actually. And I wasn't there for the shooting of that. But yeah, I think if you're gonna have a bigger script where you're jumping in time, it is really key just to keep yourself organized. Now I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, I also I need to really get into storyboarding, you know, like, and I think my projects at this point have just been so small that I haven't really had to do that yet. But it's like, you know, if you're gonna like scale up, you have to use those just classic tools.
Definitely.
And that's like where I'm going next. I really just haven't done that yet. And partially I think that is because it was an adaptation and I haven't done a lot of time jumps.
Right, right. Yeah, storyboarding and outlining I find are very useful tools, especially when doing the longer pieces, because I find that it helps avoid writer's block too. is to know where you're going before you really jump into the story. And just talking about, yeah, writer's block, you know, have you ever had to deal with that, and how did you get past it?
Oh my gosh. You know, it's interesting. I actually have some writer's block right now because with thin slicing, I wrote it into like 38 pages of a feature. Um, you know, it's certainly not done yet, but I just got to the point where I was like, I don't think that the characters are going to get together feasibly at this point with just how the dialogue was going in my head. So I stopped because I got sad. Like I want them to get together. And um, I kind of realized, I think something that helps with writer's block is that things in movies, they need to be realistic up to a point, but also people, they're not necessarily there to see real life. Like they want to see a story. Like, you know, they can get together in the end.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a love story or there can be a happy ending. One of the best, when I had written just Thin Slicing as a play, they didn't necessarily get together. The ending was much more ambiguous. Uh, and I sent it to one of my English playwriting mentors over in England, and she was like, "No, they have to get together. Like they have to fall in love. What are you doing?" And it's so funny because she's such a pragmatist in real life and just, you know, very cut and dry. But she was like, "No, the people want to see romance." And so I think that can help with writer's block is that, you know, and that was something else I was going to say. I had written down escalation. You know, when you're writing dialogue for characters, you can make things escalate really quickly. Like you can make them be really mean to each other in a way that you wouldn't in real life. Like, have you seen Palm Springs, that new film with, it's, okay, now I'm forgetting names. The guy who did all that funny music video stuff, he's with Lonely Island on SNL. It's a new movie that he did.
Okay.
Oh my God. His name is on the tip of my tongue. I'll think of it later.
Okay.
He was like the darling of SNL like 10 years ago.
Bill Hader or
Oh, after Bill Hader.
after Bill Hader.
He's like got brown hair. He's Jewish and he's just like always does like music videos.
Oh,
I'm on a boat.
yes.
That guy.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, okay, I will do. He has a new movie where it's a time loop movie, and he and this girl are like both in the time loop together, and they're really mad, and she just starts being really mean to him out of nowhere. And I was like, whoa, why are you so aggressive? But you know, it created this conflict, and I was like, I'm the only person thinking about the fact that this feels a little bit forced. Nobody else would think about that.
Right. Absolutely. And I feel like, yeah, that's something that, especially when I did a lot of biopics on real people's lives or on real historical events. And so there was a lot of research and interviewing involved. And I would have to remind myself, you know, at some point, it is fiction. You know, you are telling a story in a film. And so you have to take creative license to make the story work. Because audiences I think they do seek that happy ending, that source of escapism when they're watching a play or watching a movie. And so you have to kind of make that happen and find the points that lead there, even if you're deviating a little bit from the truth. And so that was something I struggled with so much when I was getting started in this was, okay, you know, where do I rearrange the pieces to make them achieve this end that I want to reach?
Oh, that's very true. Gosh, especially with real people's lives. Because, like, I mean, some people really, especially celebrities, do dramatic stuff, but sometimes people are trying to keep their lives normal. So you have to
Right.
create a little drama.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, what you're talking about the escalation of conversation, and just kind of one way that I find works with overcoming writer's block is throwing in something unexpected. you know, like if you're having a conversation between two characters outside of a bar, you know, have somebody come up that, you know, out of the blue, or have something happen like, you know, um, somebody knocks something over, or just something to break that static conversation and that they have to react to, because so much of film and theater is that reaction of the actors to a stimulus of some sort. So that was something that I would try to do, is just throw a wrench in the scene and see how it resolved.
I love that. That is, and then it ends up giving you so much more about their character, like how they react to something.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, it's really, and it challenges you as a writer to then think more actively again, because I feel like with dialogue you can get so much in the rhythm of it, and trying to make it sound really really smooth and clever or deep, and you get so into that tunnel vision of the dialogue that you almost need a break, something to you know, get you out of that tunnel vision a little bit and refocus.
Oh, that is so true. And that's something I do is I'll just write dialogue until I'm blue in the face and then I have to go back and cut it.